All right, just how big is the new Scout Terra truck that was recently introduced? I've seen some conversations online that imply it's more mid-size, some that said no, it's absolutely a competitor for the full-size trucks. And I did what any good nerd would do, which was tap into the power of a spreadsheet. Welcome back to All Cars, my friends. I am John. And yes, I'm going to talk about what this video is and is not. It is not going to be my opinions about the new Scout products that have been introduced, the SUV and the new truck. I'm absolutely not going to talk about how much I love the new styling. I'm absolutely not going to talk about how much I love the interior and its mix of buttons and knobs and a modern interpretation of a 70s dash. I'm not going to talk about how much I love the fact it's body on frame with a live axle at the rear. I'm not going to even touch on the fact that this is an electric vehicle manufacturer, but they've come out of the gate saying they are going to have a range extender, which means I think they are leapfrogging some of their other competition out there. I'm not going to talk about how much I think this is an absolute home run. And it's been a long time since I've been this excited about a new set of vehicles coming out. But what I am going to talk about is where it falls in the truck world in terms of size. So I've taken a look at the major four big competitors on a full-size trucks, the F-150, the Silverado, the Ram 1500, and of course the Tundra. And I took a look at three of the compact, well, the midsize, the Ranger, the Colorado, and the Tacoma as well, and brought in its natural competitor in the Rivian R1T. And just for giggles, I threw in the 1976 International Terra. Yes, so one thing I do love about this is they brought a name in from a previous vehicle. Back in the 70s, International Harvester had what they called the only mid-sized truck on the market in the Terra, and conveniently they happened to have some dimensions on it as well, so I could throw that into the spreadsheet. So let's get to the spreadsheet and see what we're actually looking at. So right off the bat, we were going to compare wheelbase length, the width without the mirrors, height, bed length, and I threw in range just as a conversation piece. Now, I'm leaving a lot of information out here. Breakover angle, front and rear departure angles, the towing capacity and all that other stuff. We'll be able to flesh that out more, I think, as we get a little bit closer to actually release, right? Right now, they're only really saying its off-road abilities are going to be competitive. And I don't want you to get hung up too much on some of these dimensions. I didn't dive too deep into, say, an F-150 crew cab with a long bed versus a pretty standard setup on the Tundra. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of tenths of inches comparisons. We want to just kind of form a picture of where this thing sits in the marketplace overall. So when we look here at wheelbase, we're looking at 148.6 inches, which puts it somewhere in the meat of the full-sized category and definitely longer than the compacts, the mid-size. For length, same thing. At 229, it's a little bit shorter than almost everything out there for the full size, but still substantially longer than most of the mid-size. And width without mirrors, there was a giant asterisk here on this one. Most of the full size are somewhere around 80, 82 inches. The mid-size are quite a bit smaller, less than 80, but those two markets have moved so much. The mid-size have gotten so large that you start to get a point of some overlap in here. But the Scout actually says 91.6. That's almost unbelievable. That makes it about 10 inches wider than its competitors out there. That tells me it's probably with the mirrors out, but the image with the dimensions that Scout provided show quite clearly to my eyes is to the edge of the body. So I've put it in here like that. You can see it's 10 inches wider than the Rivian. I just have trouble believing that. And then height, it puts it pretty competitive with everything. Again, the midsize are all over the full size in terms of height right now. And in bed length, It's somewhere longer than most of the midsize, closer to the full size. And you can see here right below the Scout Terra from 76, it is 30 inches longer in wheelbase, 40 inches, more than 40 inches longer overall, and nearly 2 feet wider, according to this. Yeah, I just don't buy that. 12 inches taller, but a competitive bed length, a similar bed length. So what the answer is that this is definitely bigger than the Rivian overall, certainly with more usable bed, and closer to most of the full-size trucks, definitely overall bigger than the midsize. So it falls into that funky little space, I feel kind of in between midsize and full size, but erring on the side of full size until you get to the really, really big full size options out. You know, I don't know what else to say. It's going to be interesting to see this come on the market and where it's actually picked up. I was hoping for something that was going to be more on the compact or midsize category. I do think the market is actually crying out for that. But coming out with something that's in the full size category to justify people paying the price they're looking for makes a lot of sense. And price, we'll find out a lot more as it gets a little closer to release, but they're talking in the 61,000 range before incentives at the base level. So we'll see how high that goes. I suspect it'll probably be up near 80 with various options. So that's where it sits, somewhere just about the full size, but not quite there in some metrics. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know below. Thanks.